Coming up on TV10 News, a Chicago-bound regional jet made an emergency landing in Bloomington.
And winter is here for the Game of Thrones fans who said hello to the God of Death in last night's episode.
Plus, we have the latest details on the murder of a little boy. How could the history of abuse have been a major red flag?
Your news at noon starts right now.
Your campus, your community, your life. This is Bloomington Normal's one and only live newscast, TV10 News.
An emergency at the airport had passengers shaken up yesterday night. Good afternoon, I'm Julie Martin.
And I'm Trisha Fritz. A flight that was headed to Chicago made a pit stop here in Central Illinois. TV10's Diego Hernandez is live in the studio with more on the story. Diego?
Yes, the United Express flight coming in from Columbia, Missouri had an emergency landing at the Central Illinois Regional Airport. With 53 people on board, 49 being passengers and 3 crew members, they were able to land safely at the local airport. Here's the story. At 7:30 Sunday evening, pilots of the United Express flight heading to Chicago declared an emergency. Contacting the air traffic control tower just 15 minutes before touching down, the emergency personnel were able to attend to the emergency landing.
And they are trained, so they respond on the field. They're ready to go when the plane's coming in. Again, fortunately, everything happened, landed safely. There were no issues. But if there had been, the response vehicle and personnel were in place and ready to respond. The airport has a joint agreement with the City of Bloomington Fire Department for cases like these. Following the emergency landing, another departure flight came for the passengers heading to Chicago. They were here at the airport for a couple of hours. It was determined that a replacement aircraft was going to come in and pick them up. And they did that, and they took off last night, probably around 10 o'clock, 10:30 maybe. Emotions ran high as the passengers awaited their flight to their final destination. The passengers were calm. Everyone was calm, a little shaken, I would say, but everyone was very calm. Again, the landing ended up coming in very smoothly, and everything was fine. The airport authorities are still unsure about what caused the pilots to declare an emergency landing, but investigations continue surrounding this scary event. Diego Hernandez for TV10 News. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Diego. Crime Stoppers of McLean County is in need of the public's help on finding a wanted man. Wesley Harvey is named on a warrant charging him with residential burglary. Harvey is 30 years old, 5 foot 10 inches, and has blonde hair and blue eyes. If you have any information, contact Crime Stoppers at 309-828-1111.
Just like school principals across the country, religious leaders now must take measures to prepare for the horrors of mass shootings. TV10's Macy Hurst has more on the story.
It was about halfway through the Sabbath service on Saturday when a loud crack rang through the Chabad synagogue. Rabbi Yisrael Goldstein was shot in the hand before Lori Kay jumped between the shooter and Goldstein, saving his life. Kay's husband, a physician, rushed to the scene to perform CPR on the victim, but fainted when he realized it was his wife.
And he's laying there on the floor next to his wife. And then the daughter Hannah comes out screaming, "Daddy and Mommy, what's going on?" This is the most heart-wrenching sight.
One eyewitness saw the shooter in the lobby of the synagogue and chased after him.
And I saw him discharge 2 more rounds. As he was discharging the rounds, I ran up to him and I yelled at him, and he dropped his weapon and he ran out, and I chased him out of the sanctuary.
For this combat veteran, saving people is natural instinct.
I ran to fire. That's what I did. I didn't plan it. I didn't think about it. It's just what I did.
3 others were also wounded in the shooting at Chabad, but have been discharged from the hospital. Students at Illinois State realize something needs to change.
I feel like a lot of the attacks recently, especially on the synagogue, and then just a couple weeks at the church bombing in Sri Lanka, that it's really this, not even a national issue, it's really a global issue, and how we can be more tolerant towards one another. And I really think that needs to be our focus moving into the next few years.
Reporting for TV 10 News, I'm Macy Hurst.
The shooting happened during a Passover celebration, one of the holiest Jewish celebrations. Following another week of the Kirk Zimmerman murder trial, the jury reviewed evidence that supports the theory that Zimmerman took steps to hide his activities and communications leading up to the murder. The judge has also ruled that the test drive conducted by the police following the shooting was inappropriate for showing and was ruled out of the case. The defense will open its case on Tuesday with a list of witnesses that include an expert on cell phone tower and GPS data and Zimmerman's 3 children.
And a woman was hospitalized after being hit by a car in Normal. TV 10's Lydia Kogan has more.
Friday night around 10 p.m., police responded to a call that 2 pedestrians were struck on College Avenue right in front of the Ace Hardware.
So I live right over there, and I'm walking out to just go somewhere, and all of a sudden I just hear a huge bang. And the first thing I see is just a girl on the train tracks with like a bloody arm, like a bloody right arm, a bloody left arm, and she's just screaming, and I see just a car that was crashed like right in the middle.
Witnesses noticed that the driver was weaving in and out of lanes before the incident.
In the behind were in a car. The witnesses behind were in a car, and they are the ones that observed the erratic driving behavior throughout the course of, I would argue, it's probably about a half a mile, and they were attempting to call 911 at the time.
Only one victim was transported to the hospital, and the injuries are non-life-threatening.
I guess we asked the driver to submit to field sobriety tests, and based on the performance of the field sobriety tests, the driver was taken into custody for driving under the influence of alcoholic beverage.
The male driver was arrested and charged with driving under the influence. Police say that the driver was expected to be driving well above the legal alcohol limit. With TV 10 News, I'm Lydia Kogan.
Police encourage people to use the crosswalks when crossing the street, especially at night.
Artists have filed a lawsuit in hopes of preventing the destruction of the mural in Uptown Normal. The lawsuit claims federal copyright laws grant them the right to prevent the destruction of their artwork. If injunction cannot be achieved, the artists will seek compensation for the violation of their right to prevent destruction. The demolition scheduled will begin in May and will include 104 and 108 East Buford Street on the northeast side of the Uptown Circle.
Well, smoking no longer will be allowed at city-operated Miller Park Zoo and 2 municipal swimming pools. The prohibition, effective May 3rd, includes e-cigarettes, personal vaporizers, and any other device that simulates tobacco smoking. The smoking ban was among items on a consent agenda that the City Council approved Monday night.
Home Sweet Home Ministries' largest annual fundraiser of the year will begin on Wednesday. The May Community Challenge has a goal of $134,000. The money raised supports a variety of programs, including a homeless shelter and food donations. Donations to the challenge can be made on their website or in person to Home Sweet Home Ministries.
Well, more than 30 girls joined the worldwide program offered Saturday by Microsoft. Girls in grades 7 through 12 had the opportunity to build video games and have hands-on experience with a 3D printer at the tech-focused Digi Girls Day. The purpose of the workshop was to teach girls about the possibilities of careers in the science, tech, engineering, and math fields. Microsoft's goal is to broaden its diversity within the industry and encourage women to bring in new perspectives.
One Bloomington resident sheds light on what makes life worth living. TV 10's Eli Hawthorne has the story.
Work on somebody else's car is you have to be pretty much a perfectionist, because it's not your car, so it has to look good. I talk to customers, especially when they come with an old car, and sometimes they attach to those cars because they used to belong to their grandpa or their father. I grew up in Mexico City. I grew up in a neighborhood that they call Tepito. It was one of the most dangerous places in Mexico City. That's where I grew up. I went to boxing gym when I was 10 years old. And the point for me to be in a boxing gym, it was to defend myself. After 3 years being practicing, I had my first fight. I lost my first fight. My second fight, It was really funny because I was fighting against a guy who was older than me. Probably 3 years, 4 years older. And I knock him out. That's when I get more confidence with myself. And ever since, I never lost any fight. In Mexico, if you want to have a girlfriend, you need to know how to dance. It's part of it. I met my wife in a salsa night.
And I was just standing there watching other people dance because I didn't have anybody to dance with. And this little guy comes over and he's like, "Do you want to dance?" And, you know, he told me, "My name is Victor Castañeda and can you add my number?"
Salsas are really emotional. Salsas talk about love.
Love is definitely the most important element because it underlines everything else that you do.
I feel like love is something that is beyond us sometimes because love has no limit. Things that you love is the things that keep you living and motivated in the hard times.
Well, rain has made its impact this week in the Bloomington Normal area. We'll have your full weather forecast coming up on TV 10.
Plus, cleanup is underway after a construction crane collapsed in Seattle. Find out more when we return.
Blech.